If it's too close, then we move it up some.
Sut Tekh. Sut Tekh means black power in the Meta.
Right.
Sut Tekh. Sut Tekh, black, and tech means power. We want to welcome y'all out to another House of Consciousness production with my man, brother Azzaziel. As you can see, we deal with all things. We are universal. We deal with the metaphysics. We deal with the militant black power movement. And we also deal with the occult realm. So we're going to get right in there with this brother. But before that, we're going to bring on the brother
Tafik.
Brother Tafik. Come on up, brother Tafik.
Sure.
All right.
Thank you. Love it. Hotep, greetings.
Hotep.
Peace.
That's it.
All praises due to the Most High, the Lord of all lords, only master of this day of judgment. On behalf of the Zulu Kemetic Moors, Grand Sheik Lord Tafik El, and Amin Ra, Africa Bambata, we welcome you all to see our brother, beloved brother Azzaziel Bey, here to represent this here. Also, we want to talk about the upcoming Moorish convention. Come ye all Asiatics, here November 4th, 5th, and 6th, here at Harlem, USA. We're going to go down with what is known as a Moorish community family meeting. It's going to be through the whole weekend on November 4th, 5th, and 6th, discussing all issues dealing with nationality, sovereignty, economics, self-defense. We're also really talking about the empowerment of all Moors and anyone that's interested in their Moorish ancestry. You know what I'm saying? So we calling on all the Asiatics. All Asiatics known as Moors, even the unconscious Moors that don't have a card, don't have a clock card, don't have a nationality card, who don't wear fezzes, who don't know anything about these fezzes. You need to come on to this Moorish convention and come learn about yourself. All right? It's going down this again, November 4th, 5th, and 6th. And for further information, this you can contact me, you can email me at grandsheik360@yahoo.com, and the telephone number for information is 718-989-2160. Again, that's 718-989-2160. And you can also email me, grandsheik360@yahoo.com. Again, we welcome all Asiatics, black, brown, red, yellow, even green. Come on down, learn about yourself. All you Moorish Americans, to the Moorish Community Family Forum. Come ye all Asiatics, a great meeting part 2. You come discuss certain issues dealing with Moorish science, nationality, sovereignty, law, economics, history, our story, mystery. Why is it mystery is my story and history is his story? We're going to be discussing these things at this community family forum on the weekend. So again, come on down. Come you all Asiatics. Thank you.
All right.
Sure.
All right. So don't forget the 4th, 5th, and 6th. And let me see if I can read this just to give you an idea of some of the speakers that's going to be there. I'll be there. You have Hakeem Bey, Nakeem Bey, Brother Tafik, who is an expert on martial arts. You definitely want to be there to check that out. This is all sponsored by Zulu Nation with Africa Bambata, which we want to give him a big hand for being out there in the community and putting things together. Come on, give him a big hand. We have Sharif Bey. We have, let me see if I can see all this, Phil Valentine. And also Myra L. What's the brother name that wrote the big book on the...
Dr. Lahu Pleasant Bey.
Pleasant Bey, right. He has a huge book on Noble Drew Ali. 2 volumes, I think it is. Also, Taj Tariq Bey. So, the schedule is being put together as we speak. So, but remember, it's the 4th, 5th, and 6th. And it's also going to be from... what is that? On Friday, 5 to 10?
Yes, 5 to 10 on Friday.
Saturday?
2 to 8.
Right, Saturday. And Sunday is what?
5 to 10.
Do y'all have a cameraman?
Okay. So it's a 3-day event that is going to take place. Now, first thing I want to deal with is, I got so much information here, a lot of heavy information, a lot of meditation. We're going to get into a lot of solutions to some of the things that go on, like Katrina and various other things that are going to go on. First thing that came to mind is the ongoing case with Johnny Cochran. This is the Daily Journal. And then the president of the world, of the UN, who was the president of the world. Now y'all know that Johnny Cochran was actually going to this guy with all the papers and documentation for reparations for black people. He even had the dates, he had the birth dates, the years, everything set, going before this black man who is the president of the world, for reparations, and all of a sudden he winds up dead. Now you got to understand something. You have to think outside of what they're giving you. They're giving you that they poisoned him, and that is to get you away from understanding the technology that they're operating from, which we're going to deal heavily with the technology. You have the technology within you, and we're going to tap deep into that today. So they went after Johnny Cochran and then went after his son at the same time, saying that he had stolen money. And also trying to get him to resign. So they went after the whole slew of them. And so let me just show you some documentation on some of the technology that they use to cause sickness and death. This is coming from Dr. Alan Hugh. Dr. Alan Hugh. Cerebral hemorrhage is an induced illness or death surveillance system since 1960. What is cerebral hemorrhage? Is that an aneurysm?
Yes.
Is that the same family as the aneurysm?
That's an aneurysm.
Aneurysm.
That's what happened to who?
Dr. Khalid Muhammad, they say.
Who else it happened to?
Johnny Cochran.
Right. The invisible operatives can use a chromal gun to burst an artery or blood-brain barrier in the brain of a victim to induce cerebral hemorrhage and cause a death or stroke. If one didn't have symptoms of stroke but suddenly got cerebral hemorrhage, it is definitely a created stroke and or death. So we know that Johnny Cochran, we know that Khalid Muhammad didn't have no symptoms that you would normally get to have an artery burst in your head. Understand that?
They can do that through cell phones too, right?
We're going to get into all the technology dealing with that. I just want to get this a little bit out of the way first.
What was the name of that doctor again?
Dr. Alan Hugh. You can go on the internet. His name? YU. Dr. Alan Hugh. I've been talking last 4 or 5 lectures. I talked about this stuff. Now here's the documentation. Only the cerebral hemorrhage, the artery is not blocked. It bursts or leaks. The sudden leakage of the blood can cause the target to fully lose consciousness and fall down. Isn't that what happened to Khalid?
Yes, sir.
However, human organ and artery should only be blocked but should not burst by itself. Operatives who use chromal gun bullets on the target person's brain, they can burst the artery or blood-brain barrier to leak blood and cause a cerebral hemorrhage. That's why most old people, even their ages are 80 to 90 years old, their artery or blood-brain barrier never bursts or leaks. It does show that invisible operative systems, surveillance stations and systems can use chromal gun technology to induce cerebral hemorrhage on their victim's brain. It means that symptoms for a normal stroke patient will first slowly appear on the face, hands or legs, blurred vision, numb fingers, trouble walking, or loss of balance, etc., but not appear first on the brain before the patient fully loses consciousness and fall down. Khalid had none of that, and neither did Johnny Cochran. One more. Now, it's my contention that, okay, yes, for me and you on the physical plane, the white boy has been our enemy over the years and still is. But if you do some heavy research, you will find out there's something going on beyond him, because they're not only spraying us, they're spraying him too. We're talking about a type of alien invasion here. And I'm not talking about a physical, what they show you on TV, an alien landed in front of the White House and all this stuff. They're dealing with hyperspace technology. That means they can come through your dreams and control you. Chromal gun bullets will disappear after the created injury onto any target and leaves no trace of evidence. For example, the invisible operatives have induced brain hemorrhage on some senior patients who originally have stroke symptoms and stay in the hospital for a stroke. These patients would be considered to die from natural causes for their stroke. However, to mislead the public, The invisibility operatives of surveillance systems would especially induce cerebral hemorrhage on the stroke, patients who is a famous person in society. Thus, after the media report the famous person's death of cerebral hemorrhage to society, it can mislead people to mistakenly believe that cerebral hemorrhage is a natural death illness. That's it on documentation, Dr. Alan Hugh. Now, to detect a person using an invisibility suit in your house, you will need a red light bulb. It acts as a red infrared. You'll be able to see not only invisibility technology, but you will be able to see astral entities in your house if you think you have them. Red light bulb. It acts as a infrared energy. Okay?
Should we get a red light bulb?
Have all the color light bulbs, but in order to see these entities or invisibility technology, you need a red light bulb, just like this red light here. It acts as an infrared. Red. Let me just go into something for a minute. I heard you talk about the violet flame, right?
Yeah.
Violet flame is the energy that you have in your pineal gland. And that energy, if you close your eyes at night or you have meditation or you go to sleep, you'll see a purple flame vibrating or fluctuating in your mind's eye, in the pineal gland. Lay there long enough or meditate long enough, you'll begin to see it. It's a violet light. We all have it. The reason why you have it is because the crown chakra is violet. And it protects you from negative thoughts if it stays violet. Your crown chakra could change colors based on your eating habits, based on certain information you take, based on the alignment of your chakras. But if your chakras are spinning correctly, it emanates violet, which blocks unwanted thoughts. That's why you have a violet flame. The violet flame, you can actually visualize a flame coming from your pineal gland and destroying anything negative in your life or around you. You could destroy shit with the violet flame. People come to my table every time I come out there and say, yo, I used the violet flame, burnt the motherfucker up. Sister was fucking with him on the job, bitch gone. All this shit happens, the violet flame. Go on the internet and look it up. White boy been doing it for years.
That's what you type up, violent flame?
Type up violet flame.
Violet or violent?
Violet. It's the same color as this.
Violet.
This is a deep dark violet. The darker the violet, the more powerful the energy. It's not quite maroon and it's not purple. Purple has more blue in it.
Right.
Violet has the more red in it. This is violet. There's a science to all the colors. Now this is what I found. Is that clear? I gotta take it out of here, right? Let's see. This is what Wilhelm Reich had to say about the violet flame, or violet in color. The most common color of orgon energy. Anybody know what orgon energy is?
It's like chi energy. It's around here.
Anybody see the sex magic tapes I did? On orgon energy. Orgon energy permeates the atmosphere. It is everywhere. There are different forms of orgon energy. You channel it through sexuality. The most common color of orgon is light blue, light or light violet. A mercury vapor UV lamp produces approximately the same color of visible light along with the UV radiation, and of course UV is next to violet in the electromagnetic spectrum. So we know that the European is destroyed based on UV lights. That's what sunlight does. Now, he's talking about, remember back in the 70s, black lights? Mm-hmm. That's what he's talking about. This is what black lights do. Let's look at some more documentation on that. For a variety of reasons, ultraviolet radiation seems to be perhaps the closest to the orgon in the range and the character of its therapeutic and in its heavy doses and in heavy doses dangerous effects. That means you could destroy shit with the ultraviolet. That's what it's saying here. And orgon, so that means the violet that you beam from your pineal gland that you use is filled with what? Orgon. can cause tanning of human skin. Reich, we're talking about Wilhelm Reich, for instance, related that in a highly overcharged or organic atmosphere, he became tan even under his clothes, though he was not out in the sun. I had carried on these experiments during the winter and early spring, had not been in the sun, and yet had a strongly tanned body. We're talking about ultraviolet rays. We're talking about the violet flame. The violet flame. Now you, since you have a pineal gland, your violet flame is very powerful, much more powerful than that of a calcified or semi-calcified pineal gland. Now what I want to do here for a minute is stop for a second and come back to this. Everybody know what this symbol is, right? The Ankh. Everybody know what this is, right? Mm-hmm. The Ankh is used, the Egyptians also used the Ankh to balance the left and right brain hemispheres of the brain. Meaning that they would focus their pineal gland, the center of the Ankh, and the left and right side of the Ankh balanced the T-bar, which is called a T-bar, balanced the left and right side of the brain. In order to use your violet flame, what you want to do first is balance the left and right side of your brain by using the pineal gland. This is also done by dreams. We're going to get heavily into the explanation of this. An Ankh is known as an archetype. Everybody know what an archetype is? An archetype is a symbol that has various representations or various energy levels, meaning that on the first level, it could mean life. Y'all heard that before, right?
Yes.
On the second level, it could mean what? Sexuality. The Vesica Pisces, the legs, the penis, and all that. So archetypes have different levels of energy. And it's not that you belong to this particular group and you belong to that group and you fight about what the Ankh means. That's not the science of it. The science is that all symbols or all archetypes have layers of information. It depends on how deep you want to go. It's a layer of information. Not only does it have layers of information, but before I get to that, that's what the Illuminati does with their symbols. You're understanding here, and they got layers and levels to their symbols. And so when they do a ritual, they're using it from different levels. You're thinking it from here, and they're using it from here. Besides having the levels to the archetype, it also has what's known as a reflection. You have levels of energy and you also have a reflection of energy, meaning the opposite. Meaning if I did a 5-pointed star, the 5-pointed star also has the same thing, a reflection. So, why am I showing you this? The reason why I'm showing you this is because what I want to do right now is use this technology to violet flame what we see on that screen. And so what I want you to do right now is this. I want you to take anything you have out of your hands right now, out of your lap. Make sure your feet are flat on the ground. Feet flat on the ground. Take a cleansing breath. Everyone knows what a cleansing breath is? In through the nostrils, out through the mouth. Now what you want to do right now is use your visualization or your mind's eye and imagine an Ankh in the middle of your forehead in royal blue. An Ankh in the middle of your forehead in royal blue. Now surround that same Ankh with brown. Everyone got that? Take a deep breath. In through the nostrils, out through the mouth. Now what we're going to do is we're going to focus. Focus your attention to this picture here. And I want you to see violet. See the color violet in your mind. And I want you for a few minutes to project the color violet at this picture and watch this picture burn up in a violet flame. We're projecting violet from the pineal gland. And you're watching them burn up. A violet fire burning them up. The longer you concentrate this fire onto them, the more powerful the energy and the more powerful the destruction. They're burning up in a violet flame. Okay. You can come out of it. Now, every time this tape is played, for those watching this tape, I want you to do the same ritual over and over again. We want to see results here. Now, I'm basing this on the results I've gotten from it and from other people who came to me and told me about it. The violet flame is a very powerful tool. There are many colors that you could use to destroy things, to create things in your life, bring things to you.
Hold up the violet one more time. Not wide.
This is violet. There are various shades of violet, but the darkest is the most powerful. Violet. Every color has its vibration and has an energy in it that you could use. And so for a minute, Saturday, I want you to turn your camera off just for a minute while I'll talk about some rituals that you could do.
Turn it off now?
Mm-hmm. That, say for instance, been fucking with you, and you don't like them, and you do a particular ritual on them. Before you do the ritual, or directly after it, you have to get rid of that anger, or whatever it is you have against them in your subconscious mind. Because if you do, you're going to magnetically attract the ritual that you did back to you. You understand that? Because the ritual you did recognizes its own energy. It comes back. That's how it works. So if you do a ritual, oh, I don't like this motherfucker, I'm going to do a ritual on his ass, and you didn't get rid of that hurt or whatever it is you had down in your subconscious mind, which I'm going to show you how to do that today. If you didn't get rid of that, that ritual you sent out is coming back to haunt you. I think Phil even mentioned something like that. So that means you're going to do certain exercises that's going to release those negative emotions that you have in your subconscious mind that attracts the ritual you just did back to you. You do the ritual, after you get rid of all that stuff that's in you, you do the ritual and let it go. Don't do it again, because if you do it again, you draw back the original one and start a new one. Any questions on that?
You say you only do the ritual one time?
Only one time. The more times you do the ritual on the same thing, you pull back the first time you did it. When you pull it back, you're starting a whole new one. And just by the mere fact that you're starting a whole new one, you still have issues pertaining to that in the subconscious mind, which attracts it back anyway.
So you're saying like we put a ritual on the White House and we only could do that, you know, for that one time?
Let it go. Let it go. Do a ritual, whatever it is you're going to do it on. Make sure you don't have that emotional baggage in the subconscious. Do the ritual, let it go, and don't do it again. Unless it's a whole nother ritual, something totally different. Because you're going to draw it back. All right? All right. let's talk about how to release. Then we're going to go to some slides. How do you release that emotional baggage and keep the ritual from coming back to you? It's about 5 ways. One way is, how do you spell it? Conscious. It's consciously. You consciously release this particular energy. Meaning that you could violet flame it, which you have to continue to do that over a process of time. Whatever that thought is or that emotional issue that you have, recognize it and violet flame it. You could do that. You could also use white. White is a color that wipes things out, but don't use white too long because it could kill you. Don't project out white on, you could kill somebody by projecting out white. That's why ghosts are white. That's why things on the astral level are white, because they are dead from the physical realm. So you could use violet to cleanse that up out of you, that negative energy or emotional state that caused you to do the ritual. But that's over a period of time. It takes time to do that. Or you could do what a lot of the New Agers are talking about, and even Phil has a tape on it, which is great, is chant Om. Om takes issues from the subconscious mind, bring them up so that you recognize what it is and cleanses it. That's what Om does. It's a Hindu word. Okay, so that's consciously. That's one way of getting rid of some of the baggage that you've attracted throughout your life. 2, words. Of course, a lot of times if you have an issue about something and you start yelling and arguing with the brother or whoever, and you get that off your chest, it feels great, right? But guess what? It comes right back because you didn't really get rid of it. You just released some of the emotions. So that's no good. That's no good. Words, arguments. 3, illness. Illness actually comes to you based on you attracting all these programs that you have in you. They burn the programming off. That's what sickness is. It's actually burning off or killing off those issues that you took in the subconscious. Accidents. Accidents. Why does accidents happen? You always hear people talk about, that's the way it goes. It was his destiny. That's what happened, got his leg cut off, whatever, in a car accident. Those are issues that through the years you continue to take on without releasing. And an accident happens to shake the shit loose. Because if it doesn't, it will kill you. That's what accidents come from. All accidents are issues in a person's subconscious mind that needs to be shaken loose. Otherwise it would kill them. That's where they all come from. And of course, physical. Physical death. And you release every fucking thing then. You see? So those are of course, the way you want to try to release it is through your consciousness. Consciously release these particular programs. Words, illness, accidents, and physical death don't do it. Of course they do it, but not the way you want them to. Nothing happens to you that you can't handle, otherwise it would be meaningless. Om is a Hindu word that lifts up the emotional issues, brings it up to the awareness, and purifies them. The word Om. Your aura and physical body can only contain a given number of vibratory imprints. Eventually, they become full and the imprints must be released. With age, the psychic energy slows down because it must be constantly pushed through all of the accumulated vibratory imprints that settle into the body. That means that psychic energy is lateral, person to person. The older you get and the more emotional issues you take on, the thicker your auric field becomes and you can't use the psychic energy to get through. And that's what happened to us when we used to speak telepathy through the mind. We can no longer do that because of the issues we take on at birth. First thing happened to you is you're slapped on the ass. Number one, trauma. And so you constantly take these things on in your life and you can't get through psychically based on all those emotional issues. This is a form of programming and mind control. That's why I'm breaking this down before I get there. All right. Let's get some more into symbology. We talked earlier about type archetypes. Now, when you see this symbol here, just like when you go to Washington, D.C., and I talked about ritual programming before, using the female and the 5-pointed star. How many of y'all remember that? The female, hands, feet, and head tied down in the 5-pointed star ritual. Get the sex magic. Does go through the whole thing with that. In Illuminati reptilian ceremony, what they do is they use the 5-pointed star, but they place the 6-pointed star over it. Because the 6-pointed star is what? If that's female, then what is this? Got the penis sticking down. Male. So they place this 6-pointed star over the 5-pointed star. Now you have to understand that there's a reason why they use these particular archetypes. Because first of all, this one is representative of the draconian, the 5 stars of the draconian star system. So they use, and of course this one represents the as above, so below. Right. What is as above, so below? Anybody know? I mean, anybody really know? I mean, we hear people talk about it, say, oh yeah, that's what's up there is down here.
Yeah, you talk about consciousness, or as a man thinketh, so shall it be.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Mentally well as physically.
Mentally as physically?
Mentally well as physically.
I mean, if I was explaining as above, so below to a bunch of children, what would I say? I mean, how can I bring it home, you see?
Yeah.
And we basically understand what they're trying to say, but they don't actually say it.
What
The
is it?
supreme being?
The chakra?
So, all planets have cosmic dust. And that cosmic dust permeates the universe and makes its way to all the other planets. It's interchangeable. That cosmic dust comes to Earth and you breathe it in. All the planets have this particular dust, or what we call stardust, that comes to this planet, and you feed on that in your thoughts and in your breath. So that dust that comes from all those planets is inside your DNA. As above, so below. That's what it actually means. That you are part of that star system based on your DNA and your whole structure and your thoughts. So the 5-pointed star, you got to understand that, is a combination of various symbols that mean something. And when you, let me break it down for you. You have this symbol here, which is the top of the star here, which when you project something up, you're talking about what? Power. That's what you're talking about. This symbol here is power. Then you have something called this here. You see it here? Which is expansion. And then you have the is lying on a cross, which is a psychic frequency. These three symbols is inside the five-pointed star, and they use it in reptilian ceremony. Expanding powerful psychic energy, the five-pointed star. Female emblem. Where do you see symbols like this? Well, this one right here, you'll see it in the Christmas tree. You see a Christmas tree is a triangle pointing up? And what do they call Christmas? They call it what?
Xmas.
Xmas. Yeah. The balls and the decorations you see on the Christmas tree is representative of your thoughts that you project upwardly. We're talking about sexual energy here. And that's why when you project those thoughts up, Santa brings you gifts if you're good or bad, if they're good thoughts or bad thoughts. You understand that? That's the whole concept of Christmas. That's what it's or Xmas.
Even in the project.
The gifts, the decorations, all these different decorations you see are representative of different thoughts that you, because you went and bought that shit and put it on there. Those are your thoughts.
Right.
You're projecting that shit up. So they have masses of people all around the world to put up these triangles on this particular solstice to project some shit up. Understand that? Which, if you went to the march, it's laid out just like this with the obelisk and the water. It's projecting up female energy to be used for something. Massive rituals going on here. Draconian rituals. So, let me get to some slides over here. So a lot of these symbols, where do they come from? Here's some interesting symbols right here. Very interesting. Teletubby symbols. What is this? What's going on here?
Some feminine.
Archetypes.
Yeah.
See that? Colors and everything. What is a Teletubby? We're talking about, you're dealing here with alien transmissions going on in hyperspace. That's what this is dealing with, Teletubbies. They're not human, they're aliens. And these symbols here that you see, every symbol has an energy behind it. Especially when you're dealing with color vibrations. They are projecting out alien technology, alien messages using hyperspace. What is hyperspace? Hyperspace exists in your dreams. That's where you go when you go to sleep at night. You go into hyperspace. Those are levels above the astral plane. That's what hyperspace is. We're going to talk about that in a minute. And so these symbols here on their head, what are they talking about? You have red with the circle there. We talked about a little bit about the circle. You have the triangle pointing down, bringing something down. And they talk gibberish. Some type of alien fucking language on TV, right in your face, right in your face.
That's right.
Teletubbies. And that's why the real invasion is not coming from some motherfuckers on a spaceship on the Washington lawn or down on the street or like that. That's gonna be some fake shit. The real alien invasion takes place in hyperspace. And that technology was discovered at Montauk, where they have something called the Montauk chair, which they have something called a delta T antenna, which is a triangle pointing up like that and one pointing down. And that delta T antenna is alien technology. That's what Nikola Tesla said. That's what John F. Kennedy said. I mean, everybody talking about aliens being killed. Dr. York is in jail for talking about that shit. Alien technology. Now, why come through hyperspace? Because hyperspace does not deal with time. Doesn't have any time with it. When you're dealing with hyperspace, when you leave your physical body when you go to sleep. You go to hyperspace, and the hyperspace is pure energy and thought. And that energy is represented in symbols, archetypes. You take those symbols and bring them back with you when you wake up. And your left brain, which is logical, does not understand the symbols. And says, look, something's got to happen here. I don't understand this shit. So the pineal gland takes that energy, those symbols from hyperspace, and turns them into pictures. And then strings the pictures along like a movie so that you can understand what the hell is going on. So symbols become actual pictograms in the brain, and this is what's called a dream. That's what it's called. The hyperspace levels can be tapped in through your dreams using alien technology, and that's what the Delta T does to time travel. They discovered that hyperspace is only energy, and when you go there, they have what's called psychic spies. People with heightened psychic ability with less amount of emotional issues, so they're able to cut through their aura with their psychic energies because they have a least amount of emotional issues. So that means that at Montauk it was children. Because the older you get, the more issues you take on. So they took children and used them as psychic spies. And by the way, this is where you get all the fucking astrological shit in the newspaper. Taurus, today this is going to be your day, this is so and so and so. That's all coming out of Montauk. All of it. That astrology shit is fake. The newspaper stuff. We're not talking about the Moorish science, we're not talking about mapping the stars. We're talking about the shit you're reading in the paper. Have you ever been to space to see if the star is fucking there? You don't know. Psychic spies. And so what they did is they sit these children down in this huge 300-foot Delta T antenna inside this chair, which is, by the way, also when you go for a job and you get a fucking polygraph.
Yeah.
That's a Montauk chair. That's because it reads your thoughts and emotions. Mm-hmm. That's what it does.
Polygraph?
Polygraph. That's how they know you're telling the truth. They read you.
Okay.
That's a Montauk chair. That's a smaller version of it to show you how it works. And so what they do is they give you, through the psychic spies, they give you the thoughts to think. And this is what happened in Katrina. With all, you see the big women all fat and stuff like that, they got to carry them. We're going to talk about that a little bit later on, but they use psychic spies there to time travel. And they also time traveled at the World Trade Center. I have an actual footage, a white guy took footage of the building falling down this way onto the city, and then all of a sudden changed and started coming down this way. So they're using time travel heavily. So they are able to go into your thoughts with this Delta T antenna Montauk chair. Because your thoughts and your DNA have all the history of the planet in it. Every animal, every plant, everything that was ever on this planet is in your DNA. So they tap into your thoughts through your DNA through this Delta T antenna and ride the frequencies to whatever time period they want to go to. That's how it's done at Montauk. We're talking about the biggest fucking worldwide, worst shit that ever happened on this planet happened right here in New York, out in Long Island. So these are the Teletubbies. They are sending alien transmissions through your television set. It doesn't have to be electronic. It doesn't have to be something that you press a button. It's archetypes and colors. They don't look like humans. What the fuck are they doing on TV?
Right. You got a lot of our kids watching that.
Yeah, I stopped my kids from watching that shit a long time ago.
They're also doing experimentation with alien reptilian genetics. They're also doing with reptilian genetics what's called brainstem scarring. Brainstem scarring. Scarring the brain, the reptilian brain. The reptilian brain is the most important part of who you are. It's the core of who you are. Not the gray matter up here, that's elaborating. Look at the brain, it's nothing but a maze. It's a trap. It took over for the reptilian brain. And when you scar the reptilian brain, it makes you more active, more smarter than who you normally are. You have a reptilian brain because you have reptilian DNA in you, in your genetics. As I said before, you have every animal genetics on this planet in your DNA. And every animal exists only because you project them out in your thoughts. Every animal projects out another animal. It's an evolutionary scale. If humans don't exist, the animals don't exist. Plants don't exist. And plants are become insects as they evolve. Insects become mammals or amphibians, and so on and so on and so on. But you have all that DNA. Ask Dr. Ann Brown or any doctor, they'll tell you to go through all those stages right in the womb. You see? And you project those thoughts out as a group mind pattern. You project these things out and say you agree with those thoughts that linger around that that's a dog. And those cats and dogs in time will be humans. Why is that? It's just like if you go get a cat or a dog and you keep that cat and dog in your house, you will project out thoughts that it will get. They take on your thoughts. They start to emulate you. You can't even put them back with the other cats and dogs in the wild. You can no longer do that with a household pet. So they take on your thoughts and they become a humanized pet. They understand what you say. They feel you. When you're happy, sad, they know. And you can no longer put them back in the wild because they're smarter than the animals in the wild. And when they reincarnate, they cannot take on that animal body anymore. They have to come into the human realm because they have human thoughts. So they're using reptilian DNA here.
The stellar man, John Baines, talks about that.
Yeah. And that's how it works on the evolutionary scale. And you basically project that out of your DNA because you have it all within your DNA. Cats project out mice. Dogs project out cats. Humans project out all the animals. And you, through your DNA, have been programmed. Remember, you have reptilian DNA in you. That's why you have a reptilian brain and a human body. And that's why you're amphibious in the womb. You have all these genetics in you. And so, you're programmed in your DNA to say evolution stops with you. Who did that? Because you got to understand something. Everything projects something out. The Earth projects out moons. If there was no Earth, there are no satellites, no moons. If there's no planets, guess what? There is no universe. The universe projects them out. It's evolutionary all the way down. It's galactic. So that means that it does not stop with you, but you are programmed to think it stops with you. Why? Because there's massive mind control going on in hyperspace levels. That means there are beings higher than you that you call God that project you out.
Talk to me.
That means there is something going on bigger than what's given to you in your reality. And you're perceiving that it stops with you. Understand that? Going back to time travel for a minute. In the 60s, they were working at Montauk dealing with time travel, and that's when they put Star Trek on. Remember the Philadelphia experiment?
Yes, sir.
They were able to go from one place to another without losing any time. That's what they were doing on Star Trek. They also gave you the cell phone in the 60s. Go back and look at all the old Star Treks.
That's right.
It was dropping everything they're now revealing to you, including alien technology. Including alien technology. You best believe that evolution don't stop with your ass. Believe that. You're part of the food chain somewhere. And your only way out is through hyperspace levels, through your dreams. Through your dreams. Here are some rare photos. By the way, I have they're not all that clear, but I will show them to you. Here is a photo from someone that was taking this picture went back 50 million years through a time machine. Now, you can't see it that clear here, but I have the actual tape of this. So if you want the tape, it's $5, I have it. It's a whole videotape of showing all these different things that they took photos of and went back in time, went back and found prehistoric shit. This is a fucking pterodactyl. Here is, see if I can see this myself. Photos are so bad, you have to see the video footage. Yeah, that's real bad. But I'll try to show you what it is. This is a human right here on a distant planet near Jupiter. And that's his breathing apparatus. This is in the 50s, I believe. And here, right here, is a Palladian, some type of Palladian person. It's not a human.
It looked like a person though.
It does look like a person, but it's not quite shaped. Look at the shape of the head there.
Now those two things there, what's that supposed to be depicting?
This here is a man. This is a man. A man and an alien standing on a distant planet near Jupiter, in space. Now you got to see the footage of this. These are only the photos. You can't really see it on here. It didn't come out as clear as I would like them to be, but I have the actual footage. Right here is a man with some type of breathing apparatus on, and right here is some type of alien being that they're working with. This one, I don't even know if I can see this one here. Now you can hardly see it, but here's a dinosaur that they recorded, went back 50 million years on the planet Earth. You can see the feet there, head right there. You can hardly see it, long tail right there. But on the video you can see it really clear. This one is a little clearer right here. This is supposed to be some kind of bird creature. That's the mouth right there. All coming out of Montauk. All coming out of Montauk. Let's look at some of the documentation on that. This is coming from the Matrix Chronology. I'm not going to keep you guys much longer. We're going to do about another 10 minutes, take a break, and come back for about another hour.
Might as well go straight through, man.
Yeah, we might be able to do that. 1923. Massive experiments by Nazis with time travel. The time rift associated with the Philadelphia experiment began in 1923, not with the experiment in 1943 with Dr. Obermever. Steals the core chamber containing crucial crystals necessary for a black hole inversion process. Crystals meaning that they used a delta T antenna. See if I can draw a picture of that for you real quick. It looks something like this. Something like that. Delta T antenna. And inside it will be the Montauk chair. That's what we're talking about. And here's right after the World Trade Center, they put this article in the paper, which I thought was kind of confusing to me. They took all the watches from the World Trade Center and put them on the front of the Daily News and called it Frozen in Time. They all fucking stopped at the same time. So wait, hold on a second. That's some crazy shit now. Everybody watch on the same fucking time? Frozen in time? Some of them still ticking and all type of shit. That's some really strange shit. I remember, I got the footage. This is a white boy breaking this shit down. Seismographs showing the bombs going off beneath the World Trade Center, showing the fucking building falling over, then fucking turn back and start coming straight down. Time travel. Now go get the Sermon of Dracula, the tape I did, Sermon of Dracula. On there, show a fucking time machine fly by when the plane hit. When the plane hit. You gotta understand something. You've been programmed, we've been programmed with a 7-day clock in us. That's why you wake up in the middle of the night and say, oh, it's a new day. But there's an 8th day, and that 8th day is in hyperspace. That 8th day is dealing with, you've been programmed with 7 days. This is the 8th day. There's no time in that day. It's outside your mind pattern. Your thoughts create everything in your physical reality. You create that 7 days for yourself based on something put into your DNA. Now, they have something, now Dr. Wilhelm Reich, who was one of the German scientists who actually fought with the Nazis and was later, a lot of his technology was taken to Montauk. Wilhelm Reich basically dealt with sexuality. And they found out that the most powerful psychic energy there is through your sexuality. And so Wilhelm Reich was doing research in this stuff and came up with something called an orgon accumulator. Meaning that, matter of fact, go see the movie The Fog.
The Fog?
The Fog. The movie The Fog. The Fog, the new one. Or either or. The fog that you see is actually orgon energy. Now they have something called deadly orgon energy, DOR, which was discovered to be an energy that exists over inner city areas.
Wow.
It's deadly. It's actually thought projections. You control the weather. White people are cold because they live in cold climates. They produce their own weather. You're hot-tempered and you produce the hot weather. You control the weather with your thoughts. Step on a nigga's foot, he ready to kill your ass. Step on a white boy's foot, he's the one fucking saying sorry. You step on his foot, he's saying sorry.
That's true.
That's real, right?
So you control the weather in where you live. Go to Africa. Black people, hot fucking weather. Understand that. So they understood that you control the weather through orgon energy and your thought projections. There are various forms of orgon. Hopefully we'll get into all of it. And so Wilhelm Reich devised a technology that could take that orgon energy, because you could produce something called deadly orgon energy, which is this is how you produce it. You take a large inner city group and oppress them, and they will begin to release deadly orgon energy, and they were able to produce a machine to capture that energy.
This is what they do with the jails.
Yes, the
Sounds
jails are similar, very similar, based on the colors they wear. Hopefully I'll talk about that. But so they take this particular energy from inner city areas, or even from Washington, D.C., wherever there's large groups of people that are angry with negative thoughts. Right? If you're going to D.C., that's basically why you're there. Because you're pissed off, you're tired of shit. Brother told me there was the moon on that side and fucking sun on that side, and they were all in the middle. Major ritual. Look for some shit to go down with a big motherfucking thing to go down very soon.
You was gonna make a point earlier about the big women. Now that I see it.
Right. Well, we talked about that, but I want to make another point about it. When you see this go on right here, first of all, get your fucking ass in shape. You're in the last fucking days. Stay in shape. I told you to work out, because when you work out, you create a denser energy field and they can't hit you with the ELF. Eat meat. Meat grounds you. And the origin of eating meat was that you ate them to project them out, the DNA. Understand that. Smoke. Now I know I'm telling you some shit that Phil and them ain't gonna tell you. We're not talking about your physical health right now.
Right.
We're talking about your spiritual mental health.
Indeed.
Smoke a cigar, smoke a cigarette. Cigarettes ground you. If you feel spaced out, they will ground you.
Even herb.
Well, no, that's different. Smoke that to get, that's a whole different story.
You gotta ask now.
But I'm talking about cigars or cigarettes.
Yes.
That's why if you go to someone who's having mental problems in the hospital, and, can you get a cigarette? They go, ah.
Yes.
They're grounded. You see? They're grounded. Chocolate. If you feel spaced out, you feel lightheaded, you don't know what the fuck is going on, eat chocolate. It will ground you. Brown grounds you. Brings you back home to Mother Earth. Now, it's amazing that I never seen so many big fat women in my life until I saw this shit. Which you must go and get the New Orleans Voodoo Tarot. In there is prophesying the whole shit to go down in New Orleans. This whole shit happened as a prophecy. It let us know some shit.
What's that, a tape?
No, it's a book. It's a tarot deck. A prophecy deck. The New Orleans Voodoo Tarot. Go and get that tarot deck. It's breaking down the whole Katrina shit and some shit to come. Even got the fucking police on the cards.
Wow.
Got the Nazi police on the cards. And this deck came out in the 60s.
And it's called again?
The New Orleans Voodoo Tarot.
Where can you get it at?
Try Quest, maybe they'll order it for you if they don't have it there. Since fucking New Orleans went down, I don't even know if they're gonna have any of that shit. But also understand that New Orleans is actually sinking and has been sinking since the 1920s.
Right.
Here you'll see, now we talked about programming. When a person takes on certain emotional issues into their auric field, into their mind, those things settle in and become weight. When you see a person that's extremely obese, those are programs and emotional issues that they had taken on over the years. New Orleans was filled with these people. This was the most opportune time to use the orgon accumulator, which captures negative emotions, organic energy. It captures that energy. And as a matter of fact, in I think it was the 40s or 50s, when they first started using it, it was called the flying saucer. And that's when the flying saucer craze began. It was a weather control, weather type balloon called an orgon accumulator. That's what it was. And they called it a flying saucer. And they started putting out all these movies and all this stuff on flying saucers. So they used this particular machine to channel all this energy from these particular people. And then they crowded them into these stadiums. Deadly orgon accumulator. That's what it's called. Here is an artificial cloud formation in a flying saucer shape. These are thought projections. You ever read a comic book?
Yeah.
and they have these little cloud bubbles over there. They have two kind of bubbles. One when you talk, and one when you're just thinking. You understand that?
That's right.
That's what that is. That's where your thoughts go. Your thoughts linger in these bubbles all around you. And the people around you who are susceptible to them can receive those thoughts. Cloud bubbles. They're right in the comic books. But these things were part and parcel to HAARP and the orgon accumulator, which is sexual energy. Go look at the fog. It's a ground cloud that's on the ground. Then we saw Daily News, Dodge City, rape and anarchy in New Orleans, which is bullshit. But there go the Nazis. Not state police, but police state. You see? We talked about this a long time ago. City fight. City fight. That's what it's going to come down to. Keep your ass in shape. Get your mind ready. It's coming. Every tape that I've done, Phil's done, Bobby's done, all that shit is true. How much more evidence do we need? Dodge City. Now I'm going to go through a couple of photos here. Here is a photograph of the entrance to Montauk, the Montauk base, where the Phoenix Project took place. The Phoenix Project was before the Philadelphia experiment, dealing with time travel and sexual energy and sexual programming. But that's the entrance. Now this place is supposed to be closed down, but when you come up there, they got all this shit there. Now I went to Peter Moon. I don't know if you heard of Peter Moon house. And up there was Preston Nichols and all these Montauk people, and they were breaking down some heavy shit. Peter Moon comes out with a fucking fez on, with an adept ship going across like this, with one of Pleasant Bay's boys up there, with his book, selling his book up there, and a couple other Moors. Nuclear physicists, guy over there fucking drives a submarine, all kind of shit. I'm like, dude, shit, what the fuck I walk into? But anyway, we just sitting around, it's only about 10 of us or whatever. We're sitting around at the table and we're just talking. And he says to me that there's a place in Egypt, New York, which I never heard of. Wow. He says a place in Egypt, New York, where they have a Mormon temple with all the archives and gold that they got from the Moors. And that there is a giant statue of a black man with wings holding the tablets that the Moors gave to them to hold until they come back into who they were. Now, I couldn't believe I was hearing this shit from a white boy. I don't even know if I can still believe his ass. But he did say that. Peter Moon. And so I thought that was very, very interesting that here you have the white boy looking toward black people now for their salvation. And most of the conversation was about how much they hate Jews. And they were asking me, well, you know, what do the Moors think about Jews and all this kind of stuff? I said, wait, something's very odd here. Very odd. Although the Jews are probably our worst enemy right now. And I'm going to go through the whole history of the Jews and the history of New York when we do the Moorish conference down there.
Do you think Peter Moon's part of that Moorish Orthodox Church that's in Jersey, the one that dealt with that area in Jersey?
I don't know which part of church that he belongs to, but I know he did get his adept ship dealing with Pleasant Bay. He had to go somewhere in Indiana or something like that and got his adept ship.
Because there's another guy, Hakeem Bey.
Yeah, he's working with him, right?
Yeah,
definitely working with him.
And all that too.
Yeah, but he's working with them.
That's a different Hakeem.
Yeah, it's a white boy. That's a white boy, yeah.
Deep stuff they keep talking about.
Here's one of the entrances. Cemented, it's like a cement gate there.
Wow.
Going into Montauk where they took all these experiments took place. This is up at Montauk Point here. This was the fort, this was originally called Fort, I can't think of the name right now. It has a very odd name, but if you go up there, it's supposed to be barren and nothing, it's hard, very, very hard to get into this place.
Am I Montauk Project was a continuation of the Philadelphia experiment, right? They were all
The,
like the same thing.
the Montauk Project was dealing with mind control. Philadelphia Experiment was dealing with time travel. That's part of what's known as the Phoenix Project, an earlier project that came out with Tesla and Wilhelm Wright. Here's more of the entrances here in Long Island. You'll see them deep entrances here with big steel cement gates. What the fuck goes in there? Trucks? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I mean, I'm talking about all the stuff you see that happened with the Atlanta child murders and all the programming and mind control shit that went on, all coming out of this fucking place here. Long Island. Matter of fact, the Nazis were in Long Island before they became Nazis in Germany. Understand that. Here's some kind of trail here. Whenever you see trails like this, that's dealing with deadly orgon energy. There's something underneath the ground that's killing the grass going up here. So this is something underneath here, down this path here. And when you see trails like that, the technology on trails is that when you, over a period of time, just like the streets we have out here, when people walk those paths, those were paths that we had in nature, because the Montauk Indians actually lived up here first. And they had pyramids and everything, underground pyramids. But when you walk those paths, you create a certain energy grid. And the European used those particular energy grids to create streets. Usually you'll see the trees leaning toward it from both sides, leaning inwardly. You would not want to stay on that path too long. Very powerful, deadly orgon energy going on there. That's what the streets are you drive your car in. Even the cement, we know what's in the cement, poison and all that. But when you walk down a city street, those are grids that are actually deadly. Here's another one of the entrances. You can see the gigantic antenna back here going into Montauk. Supposedly no longer in use.
Supposedly, right?
Supposedly. Now, something I saw that was very interesting with the Katrina was that they had started putting these red X's on top of the houses in New Orleans, which, you gotta understand something. Prophetically speaking, it was good that we got to see, because most people didn't even know fucking New Orleans was like that. Now we do, you see. And it gives us an understanding of this white boy's mindset. And it also shakes you up to let you see what's going on. So it's kind of prophetic. But do you know that more white people died around New Orleans, in Indiana, in Texas than black? Crackers dropped all over the place because it was hit with more hurricanes right after that, 2 or 3 right after. Now, they started putting these red X's on some of the houses at Katrina in New Orleans. Now, if you know anything about voodoo, when you see the voodoo sigils, they have the X's and O's there. The X's and O's. So when you're dealing with a red X, you're also dealing with some kind of Christianity going on. And so they blew the levees as some type of baptism, because all that voodoo shit is evil. They're baptizing them. It's dealing with Christianity. A lot of it is dealing with Christianity. And so, you know, a sister gave me some documents, because I had a tape on Reverend Popoff. If y'all saw the
I've seen it before.
commercial programs of Illuminati, has a tip called with Reverend Popoff on there, showing her how he had a chip in his head, and they were controlling him from a booth. And he was telling, someone was using a microphone to give information about people in the audience. He's downtown today, right now.
Wow.
Now this is what she got this in the mail, and this is what it says. Just to show you the level of Christianity. First of all, Christianity is the most occultic book there is. It is the actual Necronomicon. The Bible, excuse me, not Christianity, the Bible. Remember, the Moors are the coders of the Bible, Francis Bacon and Shakespeare, who was a black man, Saint Germain. Shakespeare Shakespearean language is the language that they use in all the colleges. His plays are very famous. You've got to read Shakespeare. You cannot become an actor until you have played Shakespeare somewhere.
Shakespeare was black too?
Shakespeare is Francis Bacon.
Oh.
That was his pen name, Shakespeare.
Right, one of his pen names. He had Saint Germain. He had quite a few. His father's name was Mortal Moon Bay. Francis Bacon's father's name was Mortal Moon Bay. That was his name. They first coded the Bible with numbers. Jesus ain't do no shit like that. They got nothing to do with Jesus. Talk about numerology here. And you can actually, you know the whole thing when looking up Shakespeare's name and all that by taking those two numbers and all this kind of stuff. We heard about that with, what's his name? The guy who does the Bible stuff. What's the guy that just died?
Barishango?
Barishango. All the Bible scholars break down Shakespeare's name in the Bible.
That's in Psalms.
Psalms something.
Yeah.
32 or whatever, something like that.
46.
26.
I'm reading now.
Right. Not only does the Bible have numerology in it, but the language itself is occultic. It's, when you do a ritual, instead of saying the, say thou. Even the Satanists use that language. That's why nobody speaks that way, but they still print the Bible that way. If you want to hide something, hide it right in front of your face. They got, you go to the Botanicas, they got fucking magical books on the Psalms. The Bible has all the magic you fucking need right there. When you will do a ritual, write the shit out in Shakespearean language. Coded by the Moors. Understand that? Coded by the Moors. Reverend Popoff. Enclosed is a special blessed envelope. Put a small strand of your hair inside, 2 or 3 hairs, and seal it. I'll use it as a contact point as I inquire of the Lord to reveal the hidden strengths and talents. Mark an X on the body figure below. Now this is a Christian preacher that's downtown right now, wants you to come to Jesus. He's saying he wants you to take strands of your fucking hair, and anybody know anything about voodoo, you know what that's all about. Now we're talking about Christianity here. Which, remember, he has a chip in his head. I got the actual footage. He got a chip in his head, and they're controlling him with remote control for a microphone. Understand that? Talking about Reverend Popoff. That's his name, Reverend Popoff. That's his name.
Pop him off.
He got a big following too, a large following.
Where you at downtown?
I don't know. It's on the tickets that I have. I couldn't go because of the date. Here's something else that comes with this information that he sends. It probably says, in Jesus' name, do not open this envelope. Place it under your pillow tonight only. Return it to me. I have something I must place inside it. So he's sending you some shit. Don't open the shit and put it under your fucking pillow. How many of y'all know what kind of magic that shit is?
Word.
Do you know if you put something on your pillow, that shit goes into your subconscious mind? When you go to sleep at night? When you go to sleep at night, from the state, the awakened state, to the dream state, there's an in-between state. And that in-between state, you are open to astral entities. It's good to get to sleep right fucking away. If you have to work all night, don't fucking be sleepy nodding off. Because you become open to astral entities, ELF, and government activities. So that's one of the things that he has there. And so, the person that I got this from opened the motherfucker up. And this was inside it. A fucking red X. A fucking red X. Oh man. That's it. Place the small strand of your hair inside in this blessed envelope for me to use as my point of contact. Got the fucking red X there. Look like a black man's face.
Yeah, with an afro and all that.
Samson strong like yours or whatever. God will reveal to me your strength and talents as I use this. Remember, this red X is on the houses at New Orleans at the Katrina site. Wow. Talking about Christianity and baptism. That's what the whole, remember the World Trade Center, they put up a fucking cross and said crusade. We're talking about Christianity here. Talking about Christianity. Then I got the newspaper, look at this shit. Free rides. Big fucking red X. Big fucking red X on the fucking newspaper. I said, wait a second now. Look at that shit. So, I don't know, but it looked like some shit gonna go down here. And they're giving away free rides. The white boy is giving you something free.
Not only one day, but they're supposed to be doing that for a week, right?
They say from Thanksgiving all the way to this, the end of December.
I don't be doing that shit.
Man.
Yo, matter of fact, my niece got caught up under that shit for about 3 or 4 hours, man, last week. Friday,
Oh, that scared thing?
when the train shut down, remember that?
Well, don't
When
forget,
the train shut
they
down.
did that
man.
shit in London first, and they faked it.
That's right.
That's right.
The photos were fake, everything was fake. Everything was fake.
And they said the one here is fake too.
That's why you must watch everything what they do to
All right, I need to do another exercise.
Okay.
The violet flame exercise, same one. Remember, you're putting a ankh in the middle of your forehead, balancing both sides.
Violet on.
No, you're going to use a blue ankh surrounded by brown. And the sides of the ankh are going to be balancing the left and right brain, and the middle of the ankh is going to be the pineal gland. Everyone understand that? So we're going to do that first. A blue ankh at the forehead. So you want to see a blue ankh at your forehead right now. Everyone see that blue ankh? Surround the blue ankh in brown. You should be balancing yourself right now with that blue ankh surrounded in brown. Okay, come out of it. What you're going to do now is take a cleansing breath, which is in through the nostrils and out through the mouth. Feet flat on the ground. Don't cross your legs. When you cross your legs, you're crossing your energy field. Feet flat on the ground. Now you're going to see a violet flame in your mind's eye at the pineal gland. A fluctuating violet flame. This is the color violet. This is the color violet. You see a violet flame at your pineal gland. And what we're going to do right now is we're going to violet flame this pope right here. So I want you to concentrate that violet flame and see a beam of violet flame come out of your pineal gland and onto this pope right here. Concentrate a violet flame, a stream of violet light, directly from your pineal gland. And you see him burning up in a flame of fire, violet. You see a violet flame coming from your pineal gland, burning up the pope. You're using the pineal gland. You balance the right and the left side of your brain. You're using your pineal gland and you're shooting out a violet flame. All right. Did everybody do that? I hope so. I hope so. I've seen results. That's why I wouldn't stand here and have you do it if I had not. Testimonies. People tell me. The violet flame. Now be careful how you use it. If you have a problem with someone and you want to get rid of them, violet works. But believe me, they're not coming back. Unless you know the techniques to draw them back. Unless you have the techniques to draw them back. Which can be done. But you must know what they are. Okay, now, mass appeal. This is when they elected the Pope. Y'all saw the whole Pope ritual on TV? Mm-hmm. And what does it say on the back? Not fucking right. Mass appeal, not fucking right. Understand that.
Wow.
They elected a fucking king of the Nazis and then all hell broke loose. They didn't hide it this time. The last pope, they hid that he was a Nazi and sold cyanide gas. They straight up and came and said, look, we're going to put a Nazi up there. Straight up. And now we see Nazi police. You go down to your train station, you got Nazi cops. You got Nazis all over the fucking place. The color don't fucking matter. They had black fucking Nazis in Germany.
Nazi helmets.
In Africa. They had black fucking, they had niggas in the fucking German army. That's well documented. They even came out with a comic book called Captain America and showed all the black Nazis. Captain America, he's black now.
Captain America?
Captain America's black.
Whoa, wow.
He was a genetic experiment of the U.S. Army. Go get the Captain America comic books. Everything they do, they put it in the comic books. For instance, just recently, the Superman comic books is dropping a lot of stuff about Superman being Russian now. Whenever you see Superman comic books, especially the new ones, that's dealing with the Clark family of the Illuminati. Clark Kent. That's the Clark family of the Illuminati. Superman. Everything Superman does is dealing with the Clark family. All right, let's look at some more documentation here. The Phoenix technology tested at Montauk Air Force Station was, in essence, a thought amplifier. This evolved into the broadcast of thoughts for mass mind control manipulation and a focused concentration of these thoughts for time travel and materialization of objects. We're talking about the Montauk chair dealing with the Delta T antenna. Just to let you know what's going on in your reality here. The invasion is in the mind. The Delta T used at Montauk was considerable in size, 300 feet across, and buried beneath the Phoenix chair in a special constructed room. The appearance of the Delta T was the first blatant intrusion of alien technology in the Phoenix Project efforts. The Delta T itself resembles two inverted pyramids connected electrically in a resonance configuration. This produced a very localized effect directly in the antenna center. The aliens used this type of device with different inputs and signals to leap great distances in time and space. And so we talked about what that is. I got two big ass, in my living room I got a Delta T there and a Delta T here and a 6-pointer star there and channel all kind of energies come through there. And that is some heavy stuff. But look at this here. Phoenix used psychics to generate thoughts for amplification and use. When you see the psychics here, whenever they talk about psychics, they're talking about children. Because adults have too much emotional baggage and they can't get the psychic energy through the auric field. These psychics underwent immense sexual patterning or induced behavior modifications to attain sexual arousal easily in order to produce psi at the greatest possible magnitude. Still talking about Montauk here. And I don't want to keep you guys out too late, so that's why I'm doing it this way.
Take your time, brother. Some real serious stuff here.
Reich had already documented that DOR, which is deadly orgon energy, was a natural occurrence and tended to gather in substantial amounts over large urban areas. He connected this tendency to the economic and social depression conditions that were present in big cities. It was a logical conclusion to the sponsors of the Phoenix that the mind was capable of producing DOR effects, perhaps a more specific level than had been documented. So they create the condition that you're in, and vampire energy to be used, called deadly orgon energy. And they use an orgon accumulator devised by Wilhelm Reich. Go back and look at Woody Allen. Woody Allen, The Sleeper, has all that stuff in there. There's a couple of great movies you want to get also. Get the movie Submerged. Submerged with Steven Seagal. In there is, they actually have Jose Delgado, who was the first person to come up with implants in the actual movie. It's all about mind control. By Tesla's own admission, he had been hearing voices and been in contact with what he called aliens for many years. Now let's look at some of the rituals that I found dealing with this orgon energy. Here's one article here. And if you look, Canadians flock to strip off massive, naked fucking bodies all over the fucking place, channeling orgon sexual energy. The leading New York artist has praised Montreal as a very open-minded and progressive city after authorities allowed more than 2,000 people to strip naked in the streets for their latest project. Now, y'all seen this before, right?
Oh,
Y'all never seen this before?
Yeah, he was here. He was here doing that too.
Yeah, right here in New York.
Yeah.
Going all over the world, and what are they doing by doing this? Channeling sexual energy. Channeling sexual energy, that's what they're doing. Massive rituals going on a massive level. We're just looking at it as, oh, well, you know, that's some crazy white boys. No, they got things down to science. Hundreds of nudes cross the Tyne. I don't know what the fuck, what is that? Tyne? Tyne. About 1,700 men and women have appeared naked in Tyneside in the name of art. Wait a minute, now they're in Tyne? Where the fuck is that place? They was in one place, not in another. 1,700. Always watch your numbers. Always watch your numbers there. It's very interesting. Here it is again. Where are they at now? In the hundreds, they line up and take off their clothes, all in the name of art. Where is this place? This is in Russia. No, Canada, I think it is. Tunic has held similar naked installations at outdoor venues in Montreal, Canada, Seoul, and so on, in Brazil, and so on and so on. So we're looking at, these are ways they channel sexual energy using Wilhelm Reich techniques. And the archetypes that we talked about in your dreams are all around you. You just can't understand them. For instance, a 5-pointed star has various levels of representation. So you go into your dreams, and when you enter that hyperspace level, there are many different types of symbols. And this alien technology taps into this hyperspace energy, bring those symbols into the physical reality, and use them on store signs. So a female may go into a store and feel sexually stimulated and not know it, and spend all her money in that store based on a sign or a symbol she saw in the advertisement. And that's what television does. Television takes hyperspace symbols from your dream state and bring them into physical reality, and you don't understand what it is because it didn't come through your pineal gland. They're being emitted to you through the Montauk chair, through your television. You see? So all the symbols that you see Jordan Maxwell talk about, and all these symbols that he talk about, Illuminati and all this stuff, they all have layers upon layers of information. So that you say that the cross means Jesus, but what they did over thousands of years was to layer different definitions on it. So in order for you to find the truth, you got to go through all those layers to know exactly what they're doing. You see? Which are symbols channeled through your dreams. That's why you should keep a dream journal. And let me stop right now because it's getting late and I want to take you through some of the issues associated with dreams. Associated with dreams. Things you need to know. One, daydream. What is a daydream? Anybody think they know what a daydream is?
You're not really sleeping, you kind of like fading in and out, your mind like drifts for a minute. You know, you're not like in REM sleep, but your mind...
Sort of, but you're not really, see, when you daydream, you're not really tired.
Your mind drifts, you know, your mind is, you go into another dimension, you know, for a minute, your mind is off of where you at now, and you thinking about, you know, something, you someplace else.
That's pretty good. Anybody else?
While you're awake and you dreaming, while you walking and you daydreaming on something else, but you really like, you know what I mean, like you focus, you ain't focusing on what you're doing, but you dealing with that thought.
That's a good answer too. Both correct. Daydream is when you, actually it's a visualization. When you project out a vision of something that you love or a situation that you would love to be in, but in actuality you don't want to be there. If you saw it in front of you, you would fucking run.
Wow.
So a daydream is a place you escape to that you love, but you don't manifest it on the physical realm because you're actually scared of it. That's a daydream. Visualization is similar to daydreaming, except that when you visualize, you actually do bring it into physical reality. Difference. One you don't, the other you do. Visualization. So if you concentrate on a particular thing, using the techniques I gave you off camera, you can bring those, just like we did the violet flame. Your thoughts can make those things happen. That's a visualization. So if you could daydream, you could visualize.
So daydream doesn't manifest into the realities.
Daydream does not manifest in physical reality. It's a place that you escape to, but afraid of. Nightmares. By the way, dreams really exist for you basically because the information during your awakened state on a daily basis, a lot of that information that is given to you, your mind won't accept it or accept that solution, so it has to come to you in a dream state. Your dreams tell you things that you wouldn't accept in your awakened state. A nightmare occurs when, over a period of time, you don't listen to your dreams. And it continues to reoccur and finally becomes a nightmare. And the nightmare means that it's urgent. Hurry up and deal with it. Otherwise, you will be taking on all that psychic energy that will cause an accident to shake it loose, or a sickness that will turn into a fever to burn it off. Sleepwalkers. Sleepwalkers and sleep talkers. Anybody got an idea? We're dealing with hyperspace here.
Right.
We're talking about ELF. We're also talking about government activities. They're fucking with your dream state. This is where the aliens are coming from. This is how they control you. And that's why you have to begin to record your dreams. Balance yourself before you even go to bed. Balance your T-bar or your Ankh in the forehead. Balance it out. Yeah.
Well, whatever, when you have a dream catcher, like I had different things when you had certain dreams, and then when I get dream catchers, you don't be receiving nothing.
Well, dream catchers, I think, was an ancient Indian technique. But I would recommend an Ankh or a circle in the dot to balance yourself, and keep a pad and pencil right next to your bed. And when you go to the bathroom at night or you turn over, write it down immediately. It's your book of your life. It's going to tell you things you need to know. Also, government activities take place with ELF on that level. There are different, your chakras represent different levels of astral entities. The worst ones you want to deal with is the extremely low frequency. Those are the worst entities that you want to deal with. We're going to get into that. Yeah.
I don't know the last time I remember the dream.
Unfortunately, brother, not remembering your dreams is not normal.
Yeah,
There could be programming issues there, because people who don't remember their dreams, there's a reason why you're not wanted to remember them, because they bring up information that you may get for yourself that may help you in your life to do something that they don't want you to do. Now, it doesn't have to be specific programming. It could be through television and in general. But if you do not remember your dreams, that is not normal. It is normal to remember your dreams.
But they have this condition thinking that if you don't remember your dreams, that's normal.
It's programming.
Right.
There's a block there. Yeah.
And what about when you wake up sometimes and you had an excited dream, you know, you could have been in dimensions or something like that, and you try to rush back to get into that dream to finish the story.
You're like me. I dream one night and you go back and finish the dream the next night. You go and stuff like that. But excited, you mean if it's sexually exciting, or any dream, all dreams actually are only showing you something about yourself. Don't forget about everybody out there just because you dreamed of that person. No, that person has an aspect of you in him, and your dream is showing it to you, and it wants you to deal with it from your perspective. Just like if you have a wet dream or any other kind of dream, all dreams are symbolic of something going on inside you that you must deal with. All of them. There's nothing out there, it's you. Sleepwalkers. Sleepwalking is very dangerous, because it definitely leaves you open to government activities, mind control, disincarnate spirits.
Do you think that sister was sleepwalking?
What's
when
this?
she threw her babies over the bridge?
She could be just under mind control.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
No.
Anyone of y'all know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I heard something.
This was this weekend. I'm surprised. I thought you knew that, Azzaziel.
But so much of it going
she
on
threw
now.
her kids over the bridge into the water. And I think it was one like 4, one was 6.
So all you got to do is look at the numbers, look at your dates. It's all there. I mean, every time we do a lecture, we go through that whole thing. Look out for the 31st. Look out for the 13th. Always watch the 13th. The Illuminati has switched gears, and they no longer use the full moon. They use the new moon now. The new moon is more powerful, especially on the female minstrel. That's when you don't see nothing out there.
Yeah.
Sleepwalkers are people who were murdered in a past life and afraid to leave their body, so they take it with them. That's a sleepwalker. They are afraid to leave their body when they go to sleep, so they take their body with them because of something that took place traumatic in a past life. That's a sleepwalker. And so that needs to be dealt with. And of course, there are many ways to deal with that. Balancing, grounding, and so forth. Near-death experience. We're going through things that are associated with your dreams, which is the hyperspace level. Near-death experiences, the first thing you hear people talk about is go toward the white light, bright light. Whether or not you go, there are different lights you can go to. Orgone energy is actually the violet light. There are beings that went to the violet light rather than the white light. And when you use your violet flame energy field or projections, you're actually using those people who went to the violet light. It's a different dimension. Go see one of the Outer Limits episodes where the sun turned violet and his skin turned gold and all this kind of stuff. So it's in all the TV shows and movies. The white light brings you back into, white represents death. So you're put back into a physical body, whether it's genetic manipulation and control or technology. If you die in a hospital, they have the technology to capture your soul and put you back into another body at the hospitals. The hospitals can do that. But it doesn't matter. Either way, even if it's natural, it's still you're being put back, repeating. You see? So when you go toward the white light, if you could think at time of death, you don't want to go to the white light. Yeah.
Well, what happens if you don't go to these other lights? Like one time I was flying over the Swiss Alps, and the plane started doing this thing, which I thought, this was it. And, I started reading the Fatiha, not reading, but saying it in my mind. And then these lights came. But I was already heavy into the whole subterranean thing of Akata, Shambhala, and Vilu power. And seeing these lights that came like blue, purple, green and stuff. And it told me like, be calm, everything gonna be all right and stuff. And the plane got back in order. Right. And I looked to one of the other brothers who was a black brother from England. And I said, yo, bro, I just had this bug vision. He said, yeah, man, I had colored lights coming to me, stuff to it. And I never told him what was happening. Then we started bugging out talking about this. And then when I went back to Switzerland, people was telling me about things and certain oaths that people, when they joined the army in Switzerland, about the Alps and what's in it. But then I was heavy into the black sun and all that, dealing with the subterranean world. So what lights was all that type?
Well, if you remember about a year ago, they arrested a guy for beaming some kind of blue light up at the sky.
Right, at the planes.
Remember that? Right, at the planes, right. So sometimes a lot of that has to do with different forms of mind control and technology. But as far as when you leave your body and lights, one thing you want to do is learn what those colors mean. Of course, as I said before, the crown chakra is violet. So that's the highest level on the physical plane, you see. And some people talk about the 12th chakra and all like that. Right. You don't need a 12th chakra while you're in a physical body. And if you don't have a physical body, you don't need chakras. You see. So you don't really need why would you have a 12th chakra? And they say, oh, that's the spiritual new chakra and all this kind of stuff. Yes, they may exist, but it's so far outside your body, it has no use for you on the physical plane. And definitely don't have any use for you on the spiritual plane. Okay, so near-death experiences, you want to watch that, be conscious even at fucking death. I mean, that's why we're here. We weren't conscious. Fucking repeat the shit. We're here again. To die. You will die. You will go back there. You see. Lucid dreams. Lucid dreams are when you are awake inside a dream, which happened to me a couple times, a couple of weeks ago, which can be dangerous. The thing about lucid dreams is that when you finally awake, you think what really happened, what happened in the dream was real. And also, it puts you in that state where you are also open to disincarnate spirits. Lucid dreams. So it should be controlled and know what you're doing when you deal with that. Waking up inside a dream.
What do you do when you do that? Because that happened to me a couple times. I woke up and I wasn't sure. The first time it scared me because I couldn't get up.
First thing you want to do is the first thing you want to do if you wake up inside your dream is surround yourself in brown. Bring it home. Ground yourself. Because you're in an astral level. Spaced out. Right. Bring yourself home. Yeah.
One time I had this dream, and I don't know where I left the dream, but it was a point in the dream where I felt this energy coming out of my body and rushing up towards the ceiling. And at first I accepted it, but after a while the energy was I didn't know how far it was gonna go, and I got scared, and I woke up and I stopped it. I don't know what that was.
You felt yourself coming out of your body? Did you see yourself? Was you looked out and see yourself? Or it was just your energy field?
Yeah, it was just, I just felt it. It was like something coming out of me. And it was like fire, air, something like that.
Yeah. Usually when that happens, there is an entity trying to get inside you and push you out. That's what's happening. At least look at it that way. There are disincarnated spirits all around you. Yeah.
Yeah, I've had experiences where you be like in battle, you're in battle in the dream state, or you know, say in the astral world. And someone told me that you got to be careful when you're there because some people they lose, you know what I mean, and they go on to the next dimension.
You remember, whenever you have a dream, it's dealing with an aspect of yourself that you must deal with. So you're in conflict or you're battling some type of decision or something going on in your subconscious mind that you have doubts about. That's what's happening there. That's what a battle is in a dream state.
And people can lose their life though, right?
It can happen, but usually don't. Not from the dream, usually don't. But it can happen. Can't say impossible to happen, so it can. All right, I mean, I got a long list here dealing with dreams. Remember what I said when we first started, aliens use this level to come here on the physical plane. Yeah.
So what about this other, you know, one time I was, you know, a brother told me that he was stuck in his bed and he couldn't move, and I was laughing and all that stuff, and then
he was awake or he
was awake, and then something happened to me like that. But I was having, thinking it's a jinn or whatever, and hold it, and it felt depressing.
Yeah, I felt.
So I had to say like Bismillah, Rahim, Bismillah, just to get that thing off of me and what it was. But your mind is, you can see everything, but you can't talk or move, and you feel the sweat coming down.
Right. That's because your spirit was coming back into your body. You had left your physical body, and when the spirit comes back, if you ever.
You don't think it's nothing mixed with that old jinn type thing?
It could be astral entities also. There are so many things that could go on that level. There are so many things that go on that level, but one of them is that when you are in a sleep state or you're resting and you're not quite asleep yet, you're headed that way, you become open for ELF, you become open to entities and all kinds of things. So it's not, you don't want to be in that state of tiredness, like falling asleep. You want to get there or be awake.
Gradually, you saying, yeah.
Right.
Because it's also like I had when I was teaching like a bunch of people one time, and I told everybody that sometimes you'd be sitting on the bed and just leaning on your arm, or you might be watching the TV, and you never see it comes in front of you, but then something black or something just runs across the floor or on your wall, and you get goosebumps, and it just jumped into your dimension at that time and jumped out.
No, what happened was you actually jumped into their dimension. That's what happened. When you're nodding out, you're moving from different levels of the astral plane. Remember, we're not talking about hyperspace yet. Hyperspace is a higher level. The astral plane has various levels that coordinate with your chakra system. The lower astral entities deal with the root chakra. So when you start to nod out to go to sleep, they don't come into your realm, you come into their realm. Okay, you got 10? Okay, so let me try to finish this up. You actually go into their realm by the state you're in. Poltergeist. What number was that? I don't even know.
We're up to number 7.
7. Yeah.
7? Poltergeist. We see movies on that, right? Mm-hmm. Shit flying around, shit getting thrown, destroyed and all that kind of stuff. A poltergeist is in actuality a teenager going through puberty with a lot of emotional issues. And the energy is so powerful, they throw the energy off and things can actually fly around and get destroyed. That's a poltergeist. It got nothing to do with a person. That's what a poltergeist actually is.
Nobody never broke down Nightmares on Elm Street yet, man. What's that about, brother?
Oh, did I tell you what nightmares were? Nightmares are issues that must be dealt with right away.
Okay.
That's the reason why you have nightmares. The next step from the nightmare is some type of accident or sickness. If you have a nightmare, Write the shit down. Try to remember it. Remember, not remembering your dreams is not normal. Write it down and deal with it. Look at the symbology. What is it saying? Disincarnated spirits. Disincarnated spirits are people who are afraid to disassociate from the physical world. They feel like they need to have something to do. And they wander about doing what they did before they died. And sometimes a person can feel their emotions through, they could project their emotions onto a person and it comes through them. If you see a person that's always fucking cold, I don't care where they at, the room is hot, but they're cold all the time. That's a disincarnated spirit is following them, and it needs the heat from their body to exist. And sometimes if they get enough heat, you could see them. That's what a disincarnated spirit is. Wet dreams. Wet dreams. Oh, I don't think I'm gonna get to finish all of this. But wet dreams is, anybody think they may know? Did I talk about that yet? I think I spoke about it. A wet dream, say for instance you all of a sudden dream that you're having sex with your boss or some female you saw. You don't really know them, you may not even like them, but all of a sudden you just had this dream. You're like, oh shit, you know. What you're doing is that person has an aspect of you in them that you're attracted to. It's magnetic energy. And when you have that sex with them in the dream, your subconscious mind is telling you that you need to connect to that aspect of yourself. Has nothing to do with the other person. You're connecting to that aspect that you saw in that person, which reflected an image of something in you. That's what that actually is. That's what a wet dream is. You don't really want to have sex with the boss. Although maybe some of y'all do, but that's not what the dream meant. And I guess I'm going to have to stop right there. Is that it? We got more time or what?
Is this the break?
Nah, ain't no break.
We went straight through.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of information. Make sure you're at the National Black Theater, 4th, 5th, and 6th for the Moorish conference. You're going to have all these great speakers there. You got Hakeem Bey, Pleasant Bey, Brother Tafik going to teach on martial arts. Bambada's hosting the whole thing. Who else we got there? Taj Tariq Bey, RV Bey. All the Beys are coming in, bringing all the knowledge. So I just want to thank y'all for coming out tonight. I wish we had more time.
Give Brother Azzaziel a hand. Yo, you want to get in touch with Eileen Bey.
Back to that.
Female on the male, male on the female.
Oh, you want to go back to that? Well, the lapis, the blue-black stone, was the lap of Isis in which Horus sat in her lap. And so, and later the blue-black associated with the color indigo or India. And during the time of the Bible writers, King James, there were no colors used. They didn't have the technology and didn't have the money to use colors. That's why the Egyptian stuff was so sought after. Not only just the gold, but just the colors of it, the various colors. The European knew nothing about color and could not use color, and it was too expensive. And blue, the whole history of blue and red is a whole long history of that color even coming into Europe. Whereas in Africa, we were wearing arrays of different various colors. And they all have definitions and mean something. So, for instance, if you have a woman that you may have violet flamed, or a man that you may have violet flamed, to get rid of, you could draw that person back by using a pink flame. And surrounding them in pink, and then surround yourself in pink, and that will bring y'all back, bring it back. But it's a constant process. You can't just do it one time. Orange represents truth. Orange represents truth. Pink represents unconditional love. And when you merge the two, you get peach.
Right. What about green?
Green represents past memories. It's dealing with DNA, reptilian. Your reptilian brain, which represents green, is the oldest part of who you are in your DNA. So the darker the green, the deeper the memory. The lighter the green, the more recent the memory. And so when you wear green, there are different types of green. They all have different meanings to them. So if you work out a lot, because green is also the color of oxygen. So if you work out, if you could see oxygen, it would be green.
A lime green, which is
Lime green is dealing with jealousy and envy. It shows up, the way this was found out was because it shows up in the auric field. Yeah.
What does green represent when you have them in your dream?
It's past memories, depending on the shade of the green.
So it's so like I had a dream where it was a long dream, but at the end of the dream I came across this like green field. It was like grass and the sky was green, and it was this lady, I don't know the lady, in the sky, and everything was green. And I was trying to figure out what does green represent. Why was it so vivid in my dream? But like it'd be different books, and different books have different definitions.
How dark was the green?
It was like green grass.
Usually when you're dealing with green grass, you're going all the way, you can go as far back as to other past lives. You can go so far back with green that the further back you can go to a place where you weren't even human. You see, so the darker the green, the further back in time you're going into your DNA, which is the first stages of your birth is reptilian, which is green. You see, the lady represents a female aspect, could have been one of your other selves, or a female aspect that's within you, but the only way to really know that is if you record your dreams. That's why they're so important. Yeah.
What's up with black?
Black is quite a few things, but one of the energies in black is that, just like white is a yes answer, black is a no answer. It's based on magnetism. So if you see a person wearing black and white, they're pretty much a person that's programmed by society and they only want a yes or no answer. You see, black absorbs. Black absorbs, white reflects. If you mix the two, you get gray. And when you mix the two, you get confusion.
That's why when they say, when they resort to things that they don't know about, so that's a great area. That's a great area.
Right. It's the mixture of a yes and no answer together.
What about red?
Red is activation in a number of things. Energy, activation, it all depends on the shade. Just like maroon on the fez. Maroon is actually courage. It represents courage, the Moors. That's where you get the term Moor from. It's always more. Always more. There's always room for more.
Isn't it an energy? And the three colors together, the red, black, and green?
The red, black, and green?
Isn't that an energy?
Now when you put colors together in combinations, they bring forth a different archetype. So the black actually absorbs the red and green, and if you mix red and green together, it actually makes black. So you're dealing with some type of absorption color. Absorption color. It's also, those three colors are also used in mind control and programming. Red is an activation, and so is green. It activates programmed sleepers. So like if I'm having a march and I go through a bunch of cops, bet your bottom dollar you're gonna get dogs and beat down because you got that red, black, and green. You gotta be strategic about it. Wear fucking white. White stops programmed sleepers from attacking you. Has nothing to do with the white man.
Death, though.
Does that make a difference when Michael
It
Jackson
does.
wore white, so it's his whole trial?
Say it again?
Michael Jackson's whole trial, he wore white.
You wore white, right. He even had a big party called the White Party.
White Party.
Puff Daddy and all that. They let the motherfucker go, didn't they?
Yeah. But like you said, not from what it represents death, but because it represents its reflection.
Everything has, remember what I said, keep it in mind. You have layers of energies in these things. And don't look at it from, always keep your mind open to all of this. Your mind has an open door here. Open it up and look at it from all perspectives and a reflection. The reflection of white is black. but there are layers of energy fields in those colors, and that's why those colors have different shades to them. See?
What about if you hear, they always talk about walking to the light, or coming to the light of knowledge and stuff, but most people, when they got their knowledge of stepping in the light, they got it in darkness. Most of the prophets and things like that, and I was hearing Bobby was talking about, well, the sun is basically really an enemy, according to what he's saying, is darkness is what's really your power. Well,
darkness attracts light. If you look at the sun up in the sky, the reflection of that is a black hole. That means that on one side you see a sun, the other side is a black hole that's feeding that sun. You see, so.
When you see different animals inside of these dreams, what does that represent?
DNA. Go look at Noah's Ark. Read the story of Noah's Ark. Noah's Ark was archetypes. The first thing he said was he'd take all the animals 2 by 2. Then later on he took them by 7s. 2 and 7 is 9. That's dealing with the ethers of the universe. That's genetic. That's dealing with as above, so below. That's the number 9. And so what happens is, in Noah's Ark, what they're saying is that all those animals are in your DNA. All that knowledge of the animals are represented in the Noah's Ark story, you see, are in your DNA. And so and that's why they use archetypes in reptilian rituals. They take the 5-pointed star and put a 6-pointed star on top of it, and that makes the number 11. And those are archetypes. You're talking about 9/11. Remember, the archetypes is the 2. Noah took 2 by 2, and then he took 7. 7 and 2 is 9. That's what it's dealing with, numerology. Shakespeare and all of them, they wrote all that stuff. It's science. So when you use those particular archetypes represented in Noah's Ark, and they use those same stars that are also archetypes coming from the hyperspace level, they're using those symbols to gather a certain energy to be projected out, which we got to start beginning to do. When you use a violet flame, you are using those archetypes or those entities that entered into that violet light. You're projecting out entities that do destruction, cleansing work.
If most of these people that wrote the Bible and took it from the Hermetic text and the Kemetic text and all that, what's the basic main factology book that our people really need to be going back researching on?
The greatest book that you could probably go to is within you, which that's why you got to keep a dream journal. But as far as magic is concerned, the Bible. I mean,
more than the Kemetic?
T.D. Jakes and all of them, thou art loose, that's why Christianity rules the world, because it's magic. They're dealing with magic.
But if that came from the Kemetic,
the Moors translate
back to the original books that taught
all the language. Get the tape I did called Above Top Secret. Every language has a type of magic in it, including the Egyptian language, including the shit the Pope used, the Latin, which later became Spanish. But Latin was devised by Tertullian, who was a black man, and is the language of law, which later became Spanish, which later became mixed with German and became the King's English, or what we call Shakespearean language. So all those elements are merged together in the King's English and also in today's modern day English. But it is used in ritual ceremony. That's why when you go to church, you got to come up with the Bible, you read a specific thing, or someone needs something to pray over them, and it fucking works and all this kind of stuff. It got nothing to do with a guy coming out the sky. The shit is dealing with occult magic. Thou art loose. Thy and this and all this kind of stuff. Wait, I'm going to show some more slides there. Now, a lot of the technology they have at Montauk was in the underground base. And here you'll see underground tunneling machines, alien tunneling machines that are used to carve through some of the stuff at Montauk. And some of the subway stations that we go to now The trains that we ride now, a lot of those subway stations were already there when the white boy came in place to dig up other parts to connect with them. They were already there. They don't even know how they got there. Here is a underground tunneling machine devised by the Air Force. Devised by the Air Force. Understand that. So there's a lot of underground cities, a lot of underground stuff going on. Dealing with the Montauk Project. Here is an early artist drawing of a underground base under the ocean. Under the ocean. Now, supposedly aliens came through, I think it was in the 30s, at Montauk using this Delta T antenna. Understand that? They're not going to show themselves on the physical plane like how you see them. They travel through your dreams through that hyperspace level. It's a remember, you need 7 to 8 hours sleep to be healthy. Which means that you sleep 1/3 of your day. Which is, if you live to be 75, you will sleep 25 years. That means, go look at the Rip Van Winkle. The Moors put out a story called Rip Van Winkle. It's a fairy tale where the man slept all the time. That was because he was living in another dimension. It's just as real as this one. If you're 75 years old, you will sleep 25 long years, quarter of a century. This is the level that they use to get here. So this is an underground base underwater.
When you're in that state, is it true that the negative beings move circle from left to right? They say when you're in that
Well, there's no such thing as actually negative unless you're using it in terms of magnetism. There's projection and then there's magnetism. So clockwise is projecting energy, counterclockwise is a magnetic energy. It's a different energy field. It's nothing to do with good or bad. It depends on where you're functioning from. You see? From where I'm functioning from, the white man ain't shit. But if I was white, yo, that's good shit. You see what I'm saying? Here's an early drawing of a base on Mars, which was, they were able to travel using the same Delta T to an underground bases on fucking Mars. How true is it? I don't fucking know. But it's possible. If you could think it, it fucking exists somewhere. Here is another drawing. I can't even see that one. But you'll see down here, look like some kind of underground base on Mars. They gave you the whole shit with Schwarzenegger on Mars, right? With that, what is it called?
Total Recall.
Total Recall. Giving you a lot of space shit. Here is, I think this is in modern day Iraq where they found, now this is not a natural hole here. Holes are not natural like that. That was a hole that was drilled. That's in Iraq.
Do you think that's
Here's an entrance to another gigantic underground cave.
This is in Iraq also?
This is also in Iraq, right.
Azzaziel? Do you think that's Saddam right there they got, man?
Where?
Saddam Hussein.
Oh no, it's a clone, man.
Uh-huh.
A long time ago we talked about that. But here's some more of this underground cavern. See the opening there? Look how huge that opening is. We're talking about ancient civilizations. Ancient. Here's what it looks like down in there. There's a man right here. Went down into this underground pathway. And there are hundreds of books. If you go to Health and Research, there are hundreds of books on these underground cities and underground people and all kind of shit. There's a trail. They found a damn trail down there. You see? Found a trail down there. So these are some of the things that are going on the planet, and I guess I'm gonna...
On the planet, in the planet.
Oh man, this one's gonna have to wait. I got a lot of other stuff, but it's gonna take me too long to really get deep into it.
Got to come out to the Moorish conference.
Yeah. So make sure you're at the Moorish conference. We'll get more into the stuff I'm talking about here, dealing with Wilhelm Reich and the orgon accumulator. Orgon energy is very powerful. Go see the movie The Fog. That fog is orgon energy, deadly orgon energy. That's why the people in the fog is killing people. And they use that to cause the Katrina. They suck the energy of the people. Program them first. Remember we read it. It said how they put the people in a certain condition so that they release this kind of deadly energy, which is called orgon energy. So your thoughts mean everything. Everything.
Give that man a black hand for the second time. Turn it off, Ezra.